And in that situation, you're trying to have them be a better person and help them to view something in a different way without being over confrontational about it.
I always like love without, or not love without, love with actions. Not necessarily like buying somebody a gift. Like, I don't expect my friend to buy me a gift if I do something good for them, but
right, it's just called being a friend.
Yeah, I mean, but just doing that something good for them in the first place means a lot. Usually, like if I go out to my friend and I start telling them all these Bible verses, kind of like what Chris was saying, sometimes it'll overwhelm them, especially if they're not Christian. But if I invite them, like this Wednesday night, or tomorrow night, I guess we have something in our church called
It's
Midweeks.
tomorrow.
She was Friday, but tomorrow was. But no, so like if I just inviting a friend to church and trying to get that community built with them and just love through those kinds of actions, I think is the easiest way to show that you really care about somebody.
Yeah, I think, I would agree with all that. I think when you're talking about like when people do verses and stuff like that, I think they come from a fundamentally flawed understanding of what Christian is when you go quoting verses at someone. Because, well, I love, anyone who knows me knows I love Scripture, and it says in Scripture, all Scripture is good for building up and rebuking and reproof and building up of the saints, not of any person. The point in that being is like when we go quoting Scripture at someone and saying you're doing this wrong and all that, our presupposition is this should mean anything to you. Which if you do, it's like if you were to quote the Quran to me, I'd be like, all right, bro. Congratulations, but like that's not what I follow. And like we as Christians can get a little too like it's flipped. Like in Scripture we're called to give grace to the world and to judge or be harsh of those in the church. Like we're supposed to hold each other to a high standard. We are all self-proclaimed Christians. So in that, then we get to go to each other and be like, hey man, if I'm coming to you, Grace, and I'm be like, hey, the Scripture says this, like I'm gonna do that to you because you say you believe this. But if I'm talking to my friend who's not a believer, they've already told me they don't believe this. So me saying, well, you should do this, this, and this, the only thing I think in Scripture when you're trying to win someone should be like the love of God. Because we don't change. I can't even change myself, doggone it. Sure as heck ain't going to change you, right?